Mr. Banerjee, I would like to understand that during the last quarter, your net profit rose more than 300%.
Yeah.
So, was it completely the impact of higher price realization or some other factors also played their role?
It was a mix of the price increase in BOPET film, and also there was some quantity increase because we set up a polyester film line in December 2009. So that was a mix of actually both increase in quantities as well as increase in prices.
So, how much you attribute to the price increase and how much is attributed to volume increase?
I think more than 70%, rather 80% should have come from the increase in price and about 20% from the increase in volume.
Mm-hmm. So, do you expect these prices to remain firm like they are right now?
Yes, we are expecting the firm tendency to last for at least a year and a half.
Am I hearing Mr. Agarwal?
Mr. Banerjee is here. So he is saying that the prices should remain firm for I think another about 1.5 years or so, because there is a global shortage of polyester film.
So roughly in what range the prices would continue?
Today it is at about 220 to 225 rupees a kg.
Mm-hmm.
So more or less at this level, or maybe 5 or 10% above this level.
Okay, but due to any seasonality or maybe due to extra capacities kicking in, you don't expect the prices to come down very soon?
We are expecting this level of pricing to remain till the first quarter of 2012.
Okay. Apparently some capacities kicking in by the end of 2011 calendar year. Is that true?
Yes, some capacities are coming at the end of calendar year 2011.
And that will be from your competition?
Well, the growth in demand is more or less matching the newer capacities that are coming, and the shortage will start easing from maybe March, April 2012.
Okay. And you have also announced an expansion plan of 16 billion rupees for BOPET film, BOPP film and metallizer lines. So, can you please elaborate on this?
We've ordered 3 polyester film lines of 30,000 tons each and 4 BOPP lines with a combined capacity of 132,000 tons. And metallizing capacity going up from 53,600 to 125,000 tons. All this would happen in phases and to be completed by March 2013.
And when the fresh capacity will start coming in phases?
First capacity would come up in July, August 2011.
Okay. So from next year onward, we can expect some volume increase also from your point of view?
Yes. Volumes are almost doubling in the next 2.5 years.
Okay. And how this expansion is going to be funded?
This will be funded through a mix of both debt as well as internal accruals.
No equities?
At the moment, we have not contemplated any such thing. So, I think because the internal accruals are quite strong, so I think we can fund through the internal accruals.
And what would be the ratio of debt and internal accruals for this expansion?
Roughly half will come from both.
Okay, and your competitors seem to be ahead of you in terms of capacity addition. They started their expansion plans much ahead of you. Is it true?
No. Actually, we have been expanding our capacities continuously right from 2003 when we diversified into BOPP film. So if you see, we expanded our capacities for polyester film in December 2009 by about 25,000 tons, 30,000 tons. And similarly in 2008 and 9, we expanded our capacities for BOPP film also from 90,000 tons to 180,000 tons, which is presently there. So we have been continuously expanding. It's not that at the time in the last 3-4 years we have not expanded. It is once we have expanded and now we have ordered for another expansion. So we even ordered for some of the lines before even the prices started moving up. So we could foresee like there could be good demand growth in future. As such in India, the demand is growing at about 20% per annum. And globally in polyester film, it is growing at about 9%. So based on the growth which we could foresee, the expansion plans have been lined up.
You have also announced raising of funds through various modes for an amount aggregating up to rupees 2,000 crore.
Yeah, this is an enabling resolution basically. So as I said earlier, we have not yet contemplated a plan for any equity fund raising, but yes, we have enabled, because this was done in the AGM, and AGM is done normally once in a year. So we just took resolution and took the permission of the shareholders.
But your expansion plan is of 16 billion rupees, and you have passed an enabling resolution for 20 billion rupees, and you are saying that half of the expansion is going to be funded through internal accruals. That means only 8 is required through debt. So 8 versus 20. So what is this extra 12 billion rupees for?
You know, when you actually pass the enabling resolution, you do not want to bind yourself to a particular figure. So depending upon, because the industry and the company scenario, business scenario changes quite frequently and very fast. So we just wanted, if there is a sufficient resolution approval from the shareholders, if required, we can approach various markets basically.
Okay, and right now, your preferred mode is not inclined toward equity, but it is inclined toward debt.
That's right.
Any guidance or maybe some outlook you would like to give for the coming quarters and the whole fiscal year?
Actually, we have not been giving guidance for the profitability or the top line as a matter of policy. So we would continue with the same policy this time also.
Okay, but some indication of how the business is going to be in the remaining quarters of this fiscal year?
As Mr. Banerjee told you, the prices are likely to remain firm in coming quarters because there is a shortage of polyester film, and BOPP film is also looking like taking off. So it should be good. The price, volume business is looking like continuing to be quite okay. But I think to comment on the profitability or the revenue for future, we would not like to comment on that.
Any indication on how the margins would be? And what range?
This in Q2, actually, we have announced reported 41% EBITDA margin.
Okay.
For the company as a whole. And if the prices remain like this, I think we can continue with this kind of EBITDA margin.
Any possibility of further volume increase in the remaining quarters?
See, our capacities are running at full capacities now. So whatever volumes we have reported in the last quarter, I think that should continue. So I don't think, because unless there is a capacity expansion, there should not be any further increase in the volume.
When the fresh capacities in the industry would start kicking in after the end of calendar year 2011, at that time, do you expect the prices to get subdued a bit, and up to what quantum?
Some correction is likely, maybe from about 5 to 10% correction is anticipated in early 2012.
Okay. On the one hand, the capacities are increasing significantly, but the correction in prices, you are saying only 5 to 10%. So, is it an optimism?
The correction that is happening, the market is also going at the same pace. So, the first situation will occur only 2 years later.
Okay.
For the next 2 years, the expansions would take care of the growth.
So you're saying that the demand is rising at the same pace at which the fresh capacities are getting in?
Yes.
Okay.
The world market is growing at roughly 9 to 10%, which is presently at about 2.5 million tons. So roughly 250,000 tons is the increase in volume every year. And in the next 2 years, 20 lines are expected, which would cater to, say, 500,000 tons, which the market should easily absorb.
And I would like to understand a bit of international dynamics. I mean, whether the Indian industry is dependent on imports, or maybe are you exporting final products? What kind of dynamics is going on in the industry?
Very negligible. I think 1 or 2% imports may take place. That too basically rejects for some small non-critical usage. Indian industry has a sizable export of roughly 30 to 35% of its capacity, which sometimes because of domestic demand reduces a little bit. But as capacity additions take place, exports reach their targeted 30 to 35% of production in the country. About 25 to 30% is our exports. With the addition of capacity, it may go up a little bit towards 35%.
Do you import some raw materials?
Yes, some amount of imports of raw material take place. 15-20% of our raw materials we import against our duty-free licenses.
So, do you see some fluctuations due to currency movements?
Currency movements actually does not really affect us because our exports are more or less matched by the imports.
Earlier, some time back, you had announced buyback of your equity shares, which was later withdrawn. So, did you actually execute some portion of buyback proposal, or it was completely withdrawn?
No, this was completely withdrawn.
Okay.
As by the time we could start the process, the prices of the stock had already moved out of that range, so we had to withdraw that.
And then you announced a bonus in 1:1 ratio.
Yeah, that was done actually in the last AGM. So this was to reward the shareholders as the business is looking good. So we announced 1:1 bonus and also 100% dividend, increased dividend we have announced.
Usually buyback and bonus have very opposite impact on the equity base of a company. So it was like a complete U-turn from the equity management point of view.
No, actually if you remember, we have done 2 buyback in the year 2008 and 9 also. And that was done when the company felt that actually the value creation is still possible and the share was undervalued in a way, and the value in the company was much better. So we announced, okay, at this price we can buy back shares, and again this was in the interest of the shareholders to enhance the shareholders' value. So if you look at this from the point of view of shareholders, this was done to enhance the shareholders' value, and this time also the bonus has been announced to give shareholders leeway in terms of if suppose somebody is interested in selling the bonus shares or maybe the original shares, they can do so. So this was, both the things were in line with the thinking of rewarding the shareholders or creating value for the shareholders.
Okay, fine. All the best to both of you.